It's Wombat Jones for Ramen Chokehold, and I am here with a man that's competed in the world-famous Lumpini Stadium. He's the Cage Muay Thai middleweight champion. He's also a one championship Muay Thai contender. He's making his second appearance for one championship next week in Myanmar. Welcome, Elliot the Dragon Compton. How you going, champion?
I'm great, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on. It's been a long time we've been working on this, so it's good to finally be here.
Yeah, and especially I think I was supposed to be in that room you're actually be sitting in. We were supposed to play some tunes one time, so I want to get onto that one day. But, mate, I only seen you, a couple of days ago up at ACB 88. How was that?
Yeah, it was unreal, man. It was a cool night of fights. Good to see a teammate of mine got his win in the first round, rear naked choke, which was cool. Yeah, it was a great night of fights, man. I was impressed.
Yeah, I was super impressed as well. It was the first time that I'd been, and the Russians come into town, and I'm hoping they come back because it's sort of like it gives like another sort of layer, doesn't it? You know, you got the local scene, but when those guys come into town, and if they're going to come back 2-3 times a year, it's really special, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I think as I'm aware, I could be wrong on this. I'm pretty sure they're signing guys with one fight deals, so. It's good for these guys that are doing well on the local circuit, and they can make that jump into. At the moment, there's like the local circuit, then you've got the major organizations like the UFC, ONE FC, Bellator, Risen, things like this. But there's kind of like that, not in the middle there. You know, there's no middle ground. So it's cool that these guys, ACB, are coming in and giving the guys a chance to perform on the world stage with the pressure of the bright lights. And then it's a good, I don't want to call it a stepping stone, but it's a good segue into the major leagues, like I said, UFC, ONE FC. Yeah.
100%. And now let's talk about ONE FC because you're now signed to them and you made your debut only a couple of weeks back, really, over there in Manila, mate. And you fought an absolute legend of Muay Thai in Cosmo Alexandra. And, mate, I actually thought you stole the first round off him. I thought you put on a fantastic performance in the first round, but you got caught in the second round with a body shot, mate. Why don't we talk about that fight a little bit? How do you think it played out for yourself? And, you know, were you nervous or anything like that, you know, stepping onto that sort of stage?
Yeah, of course. It's been a long time in the making. I've been working to try and get a contract from one of these major organizations for a while now. So to finally be fighting with one championship and have a 6-fight deal with them is a dream come true for me. We fought Cosmo, I think it was 8 weeks ago this Friday, actually. To be 9 weeks by the time I fight again. They rang me, asked me to fight him in 3 weeks, essentially 3 weeks' notice. I said, yeah, they actually originally wanted me to fight in MMA. He's 7-0, I believe, as an MMA fighter, or 7-1, I'm not sure. And I was, of course, man, I said, yeah, of course. I've never fought MMA before, and, you know, I do jiu-jitsu every day or whatever else. I've trained with MMA guys my whole career. And so I just said, yeah, man, I'm grateful for the opportunity. Let's do it. So then they came back to me, I think it was the next day, and they said, oh, look, let's make it as part of our inaugural ONE Super Series, which to me was even better than having the opportunity to fight him on the MMA rules. So we said, yeah, we dive head first into it. And I thought the first round was mine in the bag. I felt comfortable in the second round. I thought I was edging towards maybe taking that second round back to the corner with me as well. You know, when you fight a guy like Cosmo's a fighter that I looked up to my whole career. I watched him back on Evolution before I even fought on Evolution way back in the day. I'm thinking like it must have been 2009. Fought John Wayne Parr. He fought just about everyone in the game. He fought Tom Matsura. He fought Georgia Petrosian. And you name it, he's fought them and beat a lot of them. So, to test my skills against a guy like Cosmo Alexandre was unreal. To take the first round and possibly the second round back home with me was even better. The downside is when you fight a guy that's as experienced and as technically good as Cosmo is, it only takes one shot to change the game. And he drew on his experience and he drew on everything that he had to hit that knee right in the sweet spot, and there was no coming back from it.
And, you know, let's clarify something as well, because you touched on something that I don't think too many people will know. But you're not only signed to one championship for the Super Series, you've actually signed, and it's in your contract, that you can fight MMA. And why don't we talk a little bit about that? Because you train a lot with UFC's Damian Brown and the like. And you're also, I believe, a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. Is that right, mate?
Yeah, that's right. So I've been training with MMA guys my whole career, as we said. I've been doing jiu-jitsu, despite only being a purple belt. I've been doing jiu-jitsu since I was in primary school. I love jiu-jitsu and I roll as much as I can. Um, the only problem that I have with my jiu-jitsu is sometimes I'm inconsistent due to being a Thai boxer. You know, when I've got fights coming up, I have to shift my focus and things like that. But yeah, so when they offered me this MMA fight and I agreed, and then it all changed at last minute, they offered to write it into my contract that there'd be an MMA agreement in there as well, should we decide to go down that track. And yeah, so that's exciting.
That's fantastic, mate. Now, also, you fought over in Manila. Had you been to Manila before? Easy for me to say. I know I've been over there, and the place is crazy, mate. It's fantastic. It's alive. It's buzzing. The traffic's insane. You stay over there in what is it, City of Dreams? How good's that place? And did you walk around Mall of Asia and actually get to soak it up a little bit?
And so that was my third time to Manila. I've been there before. I've done some seminars with my father at Fist Gym and a few other places. I've been to the Philippines a few times because we train in Filipino martial arts. My father's an instructor, I'm a ranked instructor. So we go over, we train and we teach and things like that. Manila's a wild place, man. It's like it's like Bangkok, but 10 times as hectic for me. It's wild, man. Mall of Asia Arena, 20,000 screaming fans was the perfect debut for me, man. It was like it was a weird, man. As I was walking down that runway, it was like I don't want to say I wasn't nervous because that wouldn't be true, but I just felt like I was at home. I felt like I was where I was meant to be, exactly in that moment, and everything that I'd worked as hard as I had for 11 years in the sport, it all just came true in that moment. You know, it was unreal.
And do you think it's kind of more home for you because it is one championship? I mean, these guys really do promote the martial arts way of life. If you ever hear Chatri in an interview, it's always banging on about the same things, you know, about, you know, respect and honor and all that sort of thing, which I know you've been a lifelong martial artist. And, you know, is that the reason? And not only that, but I see not only that, but after you finished competing, I seen you there with your competitor after he just knocked you out, you know, sitting there watching the rest of the fights. You know, is that why you think it's, you know, why you felt at home?
Yeah, of course. You know, as you said, one championship, their sole focus is to promote martial arts and bring it to the forefront of sports in general across the world, but particularly Asia Pacific region. So for me to fight with a promotion that's as passionate about martial arts as I am is unreal. I've always said my whole career that fighting is what I do, but martial arts is who I am. And like you said, I've had a lifelong journey in martial arts. I started when I was 4 years old. My father's my coach. It's not a day that goes by that we're not in the gym, hustling, working hard, improving our skills, improving every area of what being a martial artist is. So to fight for one championship that promotes humility, respect, honor, rather than trash talking, spitting in each other's face and throwing energy drink cans at each other. For me, that means much more than it might to some other fighters.
And let's talk about your dad a little bit because, you know, you work with your dad every day and you also own the gym alongside of him at Compton's there over in Auchenflower. And, you know, why don't you talk about your dad a little bit? Because, you know, I tried to get an interview with him, but he's not that sort of way inclined. So we might as well talk about him here behind his back, mate. You know, why don't you let everyone know at home sort of who Steve Compton is and how he's been around the game for such a long time, especially?
Yeah, so he's a man of many words, but a man of very few words when there's a camera in front of him. It's hard to pin him down for an interview, that's for sure. They're rare, man. So don't take it personally. And he's been around martial arts his whole life. You know, his father was a lifelong martial artist, and so was he, and now so am I, and the story continues. He's trained in so many different forms of martial arts and styles, and he's got so many qualifications and rankings and certificates that it would take me 20 minutes just to list them all off. But he's trained guys right from very beginner all the way through to state, national world champions in MMA, kickboxing, boxing. You know, some of the biggest stars that Australian MMA have ever seen. He's been there. You know, I remember sitting in the crowd at the very first ever caged MMA event in Australia. You know, it's like, and he was there cornering the likes of Adrian Pang and Roberto Travin. And he's trained all over the world with people like Dan Inosanto, who's Bruce Lee's right-hand man. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, Filipino second-degree master. Man, the list goes on, and he's really dedicated his life to his passion, which is martial arts, and it's inspiring because he uses that to help other people and build them up. And you know, he's always the guy behind the scenes that doesn't necessarily always get the credit that he deserves when, you know, we're the ones out in the bright lights, you know, doing what we do. But none of us would be where we are if it wasn't for people like him that sacrifice countless hours and weekends doing the local scenes, doing the UFCs, doing the One Championships, doing every area across the spectrum. That none of these stars that you see now would be where they are if it wasn't for people like him.
Mate, absolutely. So big shout out to Steve, mate, absolute fucking legend. So, mate, moving on, let's talk about, you know, because you have been around the scene. Why don't we talk about what it used to be like, sort of, you know, 10 years ago? What's the scene changed like now that MMA is sort of really busted onto the scene? And can you talk about, you know, where all these games have evolved?
Yeah, for sure. The game's changed a lot. You know, it used to be back in the day, if you did kickboxing, they would say, "Oh, is that like boxing?" And then if you did MMA, they'd say, "Oh, is that like kickboxing?" Whereas now, for me being like a Thai boxer and a kickboxer, and I try and explain that to people what I do, they go, "Oh, so you like MMA?" Like the MMA has come to the forefront of combat sports so much in the last 5 to 10 years. I mean, it was only 2004 that it was still an underground sport out here. People didn't even know about it. You know what I mean? It was like, it was seen as barbaric, and it was like this underground fight club that no one could speak about. You know, and here we are 15 years later, and it's the fastest growing sport in the world that draws a bigger crowd than most of the mainstream sports now. So it's been a cool journey for me. I've been part of this since I was a kid, and I plan on being a part of it until I'm an old man. You know, and I can't be a part of it anymore. So it's cool to see the way the sport's evolved from, you know, back in the day. It was, particularly with MMA, it was my style versus your style, whereas now MMA has become a style of its own. But for the kickboxing and the Thai boxing, man, it's just getting bigger and bigger. And now with like One Championship doing their Super Series, it gives a platform for people on this side of the world. It gives them a platform for them to aim for. You know, there's been a problem of late, particularly for Australian athletes, for Thai boxers and kickboxers. Most of the major promotions are based in Europe. And it's a long way for these promotions to fly us from Australia over there when they've got however many thousands, 70-kilo kickboxers that they can choose from over there. So whether or not we're better than they are, they see it as a business opportunity. It's cheaper for them to take on these European fighters or based in the US or guys that are based in Thailand than it is to fly someone from the other side of the world. So now with One Championship Super Series, it gives particularly the younger guys coming through a bigger platform that they can strive towards, and they can set their sights on, this is what I'm going to do, and they can make a name for themselves on the local scene, on the national scene, and then on the world scene. And then who knows, maybe then people might get the opportunity to travel more overseas and head to Europe or spend their time in Asia and things like that. So it's an exciting time, particularly for Thai boxing at the moment.
And not only that, you don't have to travel as far, like you said. I mean, it's only sort of 9 hours. That's going to be the worst off you're going to be, rather than when you're going to Europe and the US and places like that. Like the next bloke we're going to talk about, and he's one of your training partners and one of the absolute OGs of any sort of combat sports in Australia, and that's John Wayne Parr. And, mate, you know, you are his cage Muay Thai middleweight champion. What's it like with a guy not only training with that, but he's putting on promotions like that in Australia and really, you know, boosting this sort of sport up?
Yeah, I think in any context that you speak about Wayne, he's a pioneer of Muay Thai and kickboxing in this country, but I think he's a pioneer of combat sports in general. Like you said, man, he's been around forever, and I think he'll still be around forever, man. You know, the old saying goes, heroes get remembered, but legends never die. And that dude's a legend, man. It's an honor for me to spar with him every Saturday and pick his brains and draw from his experience and his wealth of knowledge. And then with things like Cage Muay Thai, him and Angie put on a great show. It's exciting. The matchups are always really, really well done. It's just a class show. The venue's great, the crowd's great, everyone gets into it. For me personally, it's probably my favorite show in the country.
So, mate, let's talk about your fight and your opponent in Matthew Semper. And, what do you know about this guy? He's from America, and I looked him up a little bit today. I didn't know too much else about him, but maybe you can fill us in.
Yeah, he's been around a while, man. I think he's been living in Thailand now for the best part of 10 years. I know, from what I've been told, he was a coach at Bali MMA for a while as well. He's experienced, man. I think he's up around 75 fights or something like that. He's won some titles. He's won some tournaments. He's a tough dude, man. He's like Terminator. He's just march forward. No matter how hard he gets hit, he just keeps coming, man, which is what's going to make this such an exciting fight. He's got power in both hands. And I think stylistically, my style is a big problem for him. And his style makes it for an exciting fight for everybody. So I'm super excited about this fight, man. And I think the fans are going to be in for a great one.
Mate, not only that, but I think you're going to be in for a great one, because I'm telling you, the main event is Ong Lan Sung, and he's defending, his belt. And I know that place goes absolutely insane, and it's going to be packed. It's going to be electric. Have you ever been to Myanmar before, mate? What do you think it's going to be like?
Yeah, no, I've never been to Myanmar. I think from what I've been told, I know that he's like a local hero, man. And I think the stadium's going to erupt when he comes out to fight. And man, hopefully he gets the job done for the people of Myanmar. What a cool experience to be there and witness that and defend his belt on home soil. But bigger than that, man, One Championship now stream these fights for free through their app. So people all over the world can just tune in and watch, and it doesn't really cost them anything other than downloading a bit of space on your iPhone, man, or on any mobile device that you've got, man. It's they're really doing great things for martial arts and on the world scene, and Myanmar looks like such a beautiful country, and from what I've been told, the people are so friendly and they get behind combat sports, and apparently they're the most noisiest fans in the world. So I'm really excited to get over there, meet some of their people, and put on just a great night of artistic violence for the people.
And not only that, but if you don't even have the app, you can still catch your fight, because it's going to be on Facebook and Twitter as well, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, for sure, which is cool for me, man. It means that my fight gets shown to so many more people around the world, which for me, man, that's the most important thing when it comes to fighting and martial arts. Is like, as long as people are watching me do my thing, then I'm happy, man. It's my life quest, I guess, So if you don't have the app, or you can't download the app, get on your laptop and tune into the Twitter and the Facebook live feed and show support to a company that are doing such great things, not just in the martial arts world, but they're doing great things across the board of sports. They're working with different charities at the moment, and they're just a great promotion to support, man, and it'd be cool if everyone could get behind it.
Mate, I've only got a couple more for you, but what I really want to ask you now, and you have to listen into this, mate, because I want to know if these words mean anything to you. This is no accident. This is where I'm meant to be, even if it kills me. Does that mean anything to you, mate?
Yeah, so that's my wife's EP that came out last week, and that's the title track on it, Even If It Kills Me. Yeah, man,
see
That means a lot to me, man. It's yeah, I don't know if you saw on Twitter the other day. I put up a thing. I shared a thing, and I said, people say that fighters are some of the hardest working people in the world. But man, until you've seen a solo musician that works full time and hustles, you don't understand the meaning of hard work, man. And yeah, it's really cool to see someone's hard work. She's been working at this as long as I've been working in the fight game, man. And I think that she works harder than anyone, and it's cool to see that things are really going well for her, and she's coming into her own on all of it, man. And I saw this thing on the internet the other day, and it was like sometimes it takes 10 years to get that 1 year that'll change your life. And I feel like, man, I've got such a good feeling about everything that's going on in both of our lives at the moment. And I'm just feeling so positive about where we're going to be at the end of the year, and then next year's going to be even better, man. So, yeah, it means a lot.
So we're talking about Beth Lucas. You can go onto Spotify, even if it kills me, or you can just all I did was search Beth Lucas and it came straight up. And I gave it a listen today. If you like your your sweet sounding voices to an acoustic guitar, that shit's right up my alley. So I fucking enjoyed it. Good shout out, Beth. Thank you. So make sure you check that out. But lastly, mate, sponsors, all that sort of stuff, because you can't do it by yourself, can you, mate? You really do need help in this game. So where can we find you on social media, and which guys do you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, for sure, man. This is a hard game, man, and without the sponsors and team behind us, and it's very hard to be here. You can find me on all the social media channels: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm not on Snapchat because that shit annoys me. By all means, reach out, send me messages, comment. I'm always happy to answer any questions anyone's got about martial arts, about anything fight related, or just about anything in general. Big shout out to all my sponsors: Engage Industries. I've got Team Compton Training Center, TTC Strength and Powerlifting, White Tiger Tattoo Company, Smoked Motorcycles are a big one. I've got so many of them at the moment that they all do so much for me. I've got Cade Grimmer, I've got Revive Ashgrove, To Die For Clothing. Man, the list goes on, and I'm sure that you've put me on the spot here, and I'm getting flustered, and I'm sure I've forgotten somebody. But I put up a thing the other day again on social media. Man, it's just like my life is on social media. But for me personally, like Team Compton is, people will say that it's a brand, and without sounding corny and cliche, that for me it's a family, man. And I have such a great relationship with all of my sponsors that have been there for me for so many years. And I couldn't be where I am and doing what I am doing without them. They've supported me through the highs and lows of my career so far. And I'm pretty excited to give them only highs from here on in, man. So I'm inspired by all of them. So
It's fantastic, my man. It's going down in Myanmar in just a little over a week's time in the Thwana Indoor Arena. Elliot, you're taking on Matthew Semper, 29th of June. Make sure you download the One Championship app, or you check out Facebook or Twitter. He's the first fight of the night, so probably somewhere in and around the 10 or 11 o'clock mark. I'll put that out on social media. But, mate, thank you so much for spending some time with me. Like you said, long time coming, and hopefully we can catch up with you when you're done with that fight.
My pleasure, man. Thanks so much for having me here. Thank you to everyone that supported me over the last couple of months. We had so many comments and messages and well wishes, and the support that I've received has truly been humbling. I'm really, really grateful. I know I don't always get on social media and thank everybody as I should, but life's crazy as a fighter and a business owner. But I'm truly thankful, and I'm honored that you take the time out of your day to send me messages and wish me luck. So thank you so much.
All the best, my man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.